Rolling.
My name is Charity Clay. I teach sociology at MERRITT College in Oakland, California. One of the most amazing things about this trip was getting so many different perspectives. The group that I was chosen to go with ranged from history, English, political science, ethics, diversity, art. And in addition to our academic interests, a lot of us just have some cool things we like to do personally. So the conversations were always enriching. The accommodations, not just where we stayed, but the schedule we were on, the pace was amazing. I felt expended at the end of the day, but not really exhausted. We had some great, amazing lectures. One of the things that I enjoyed was going to the Diop University and actually getting to look through some of the master's theses of the American Studies students at the university here, because some of the perspectives they have on blackness and black identity, especially using American text, whether it be plays from August Wilson or Richard Wright or Toni Morrison, some of the things that we teach, the way students here are perceiving and understanding that, it was just great to see, a global perspective on things that we often consider very Black American. So for them to have a different perspective on it, and some of the same perspectives we have on it, kind of connected this idea of global blackness that I've kind of been exploring, especially with my students. Also just in the day-to-day, I think especially for my students, the idea of Africa still being this dark continent. So I took a lot of video, when we went to places like the shopping mall, or just looking at the traffic on the highway, or some of the clothing of the people, or just to show them that cities and black people around the world are similar, very culturally distinctive in some ways, but very similar. So I enjoyed that. I also love the fact that everything we did was an opportunity to do something else. It doesn't seem like anything here is finite. It seems like everything we have can be expounded and extended across university. I love the fact that some of us are from California, some from the Midwest, some from the East Coast, but a lot of us have roots in places not where we teach. So extending the academic also to multiple community settings was great. But just the idea of continuing cultural exchange inside the classroom and inside cities, for me, I see a lot of similarities between Oakland and Dakar, right? So being able to provide those perspectives, and it makes me curious to look at what other cities, not just on the continent of Africa, but around the world, I may see familiarity in. This is my first trip to Africa. This is one of my first trips as an adult going anywhere outside of the country, and I think I've caught the traveling bug. So I think it's definitely a testament to the way that our activities were set up, and the way that the city was mapped out and shown to us, that's left just an amazing impression on me, and I can't wait to come back. So I thank you all for choosing me and selecting me for this opportunity, and anything you need in terms of ambassadorship or making sure more people continue to participate in opportunities like this, I'd be happy to contribute.
Hi, my name is CINDER Cooper Barnes. I'm an English faculty member at Montgomery College in Takoma Park, Silver Spring, Maryland. I am here in Senegal with WARA, and I am enjoying my time. This has been a great learning opportunity. I've met great faculty members from community colleges across the country and senior faculty members from universities here in Senegal. I've had the most wonderful learning experience as well as cultural experience, and I advise anyone who has the opportunity to engage in this very special professional development program.
All right, I'm Paul Schnorr, and I'm from Northeast Wisconsin Technical College, which is located in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And this has been quite a trip for me. I teach sociology and diversity studies, with most of my concentration on U.S. Issues and race relations. So coming to Africa was a real experience in terms of expanding some of my knowledge about the culture, about the history, I'll be bringing a lot of this back into the classroom, particularly in reference to a lot of the sort of historical issues around the slave trade, and then I'll also be using a lot in terms of the cultural differences and some of the similarities as well, and to help the students understand that while Africa in the abstract and oftentimes envisioned by people in the United States is poor, economically, it has many other sort of aspects culturally that are very rich, and it also has a lot of money. And so it's a nation very similar to the United States in terms of haves and have-nots. The differences might be bigger. So in a lot of ways, I'll be using lots of examples from this and further developing my sort of knowledge about Africa. This has been a wonderful introduction, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have experienced this.
Go ahead. All right, my name is Dorian Brown. I teach history at St. Louis Community College at Forest Park. This was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience. I can't think of any greater superlatives other than that. From the people, the group was great. I thought the activities that were scheduled were wonderful and really fit a diverse group of people, because a number of us were from different disciplines. So I thought that the activities, whoever put the program together, really did a good job of making sure that everyone could benefit from all of the activities and the lectures and the places that we visited and everything else. And I will be able to use what I've learned immediately in my courses. Each activity, each lecture presented something for me that I found extremely useful and very valuable. And as we were talking earlier, I also think that the personal touch that we have of being able to really give our students a chance that I did this, I was a part of this, here's me in this picture, this is video of this wrestling match that I saw, and it'll really give the students a very rich educational experience by being able to learn from not only us, but also from our experiences. And I think that that's very important. And it's always nice when you're teaching a course on African history to say, I've been to Africa. And I think that that is very important as well. So I totally enjoyed the experience. I feel enriched by what I've learned, by the people that I've met, by the contacts that I've made, and I would recommend it to anyone that has the opportunity to make sure that they apply to come, and hopefully they will have the same experience that I did.
My name is Samuel John. I'm a professor of political science at College of the Canyons in a city called Santa Clarita, north of Los Angeles. I was able to come in contact with this program through the Office of International Studies on my campus. I immediately, as soon as I saw the criteria, I kind of fell in love with it. I decided to apply for it, and I was very happy, when I got that letter that said that I was accepted. My experience has been one that, can be measured in terms of monetary value. This is something that I'm going to take with me, and use for the rest of my life. The fact that over the last several days, we've been able to visit different places, been able to interact with people, and to find out that the Senegalese people are actually able to get along, despite the ethnic, cultural, religious differences. This is something that the rest of the world needs to understand and needs to emulate.
Good morning. My name is Juwanza Shango. I'm originally from Houston, Texas. I currently reside in Maryland, right outside of the Washington, D.C. area. I teach at Prince George's Community College in Maryland, Largo, Maryland, where I teach African history, African American history, and African diaspora history. I was very excited to receive a letter that I would be participating in this winter seminar for community college faculty in Senegal, Dakar, Senegal. I've been to several African countries in the past, but most of those experiences were really informal visits to Africa, sightseeing, kind of tourist type activities, visiting historic places, historic churches and mosques. But I had never experienced the academic side of Africa, and I was very interested in having an opportunity to not just come to Africa as a casual sightseer, but to really engage the African Academy, some African scholars, in this particular case, Senegalese scholars and intellectuals. So this was a very rewarding experience because I was able to reap exactly what I was looking for in my encounter here. We had some wonderful academic lectures, presentations. Most of them were formal presentations. We also had some informal dialogue with some of the scholars here, particularly those associated with the West African Research Center, the University of Sheikh Anta Diop here in Dakar. So it was a very rewarding experience, and I'm very honored to be able to have participated and to be able to watch Senegalese scholars in a classroom setting, in a setting where they could put on display their approaches to teaching African history and other related fields. So I have a lot of things that I can now include in not only my curriculum, but just the style of teaching that I was able to witness here. So it was a very rewarding experience, and I hope I'm able to continue to participate and continue to engage some of the scholars that I had an opportunity to work with, to share with, and to learn from. So.
All right, so my name is Mark Dennis, and I am with Sacramento City College, and I teach psychology. This was actually my first time in Africa. In terms of what I got out of this experience, I think as a psychologist, I still have a whole lot of processing and unpacking to do in order to figure out kind of directly how I'm going to use this in my own curriculum. It definitely has informed my pedagogy in a lot of ways, but I think even more, and I'm still trying to figure out some of those ways, but I think even more profoundly than that, one of the things that I got out of this experience that I'm kind of still figuring out and trying to figure out how to put into words, but was just for my own self, just having the experience of not being the other. Like moving through Senegal, moving through Dakar, and as a person of color, as a black man, just having that be so normalized that it's not the thing that's most dominant about me when people see me, when people interact with me. And one of the things that I think potentially could be really profound for students is to be able to create that opportunity for them, because I think that can be incredibly healing, because I don't think you really recognize just how much of a weight you carry around sometimes as a person of color when the dominant society is something else, until you don't carry that weight, until you can put that weight down. So one of the things that I would also like to try and bring about is to create more opportunities at my own institution for other students to come and have this experience, because I think it could be psychologically healing for them. So,
I'm KATHRYN Barrett Gaines. I'm a professor of history at University of Maryland Eastern Shore, which is an HBCU. So what's cool about this program, and I hope what professors take from this, is that our goal is not to take this as a personal experience, but to be a seed to go back to our institutions and make sure more black students come to Africa. And that is sort of bald and really kind of maybe a jarring sentence to say, but it's really, really important. 75% of white students study abroad. 4% of black students, black American students, study abroad, and that's an incredible gap that's harmful. Just, it's a handicap in terms of black students' ability to access the world and understand the world and see the world as a place they can own. And I think what a black student coming, a black person, a black American coming to Africa sees really quickly is that not only is Africa an amazing set of places and things and experiences, but also it kind of makes you realize what kind of armor you've been wearing in America that you didn't even know you were wearing, that you can actually drop while you're here. You can actually drop the armor and just be a person who's experiencing the world and not be a black person. And I think that is the kind of falling away from the eyes, you know, that we need in America. Then they can go back to America going, you know what? I can own the world. I can own the place I live in. I can own my environment. I can own my community. I don't have to be an other, even here back in the United States. And so if this program can bring faculty here who can take that back, plant that seed, get one student, one student to Senegal, one student to Ghana, one student to Kenya, that almost is a life's work there, because then that's exponential after that. That student will come back like an astronaut from the moon, and other students will go, she came back from the moon. I think I'm going to go to the moon. And then it just goes on and on from there. So I think we need to be the change we need to see in the world, which would make us be the seed that then our goal is to push just one black student to Africa. And I think that should be kind of each of our thing. And I think this program it's moving us at great speed toward that goal. And I'm grateful for it.
I'm Linda Smith. I'm from Hawkeye Community College in Waterloo, Iowa. I've really enjoyed myself. Unfortunately, I came late because of some misunderstandings about my passport. But when I joined, the group was on their way to the St. Louis. That was very colorful. I especially liked the hotel we stayed at and the woman who ran it. She gave us a very interesting history of the importance of women and the intermarriage in the early colonial days. I've had a lot of fun, a lot of beautiful scenery. The leadership on this has been superb. They've been very understanding with all kinds of little problems. And they've also been helpful, generous, kind, and very knowledgeable. I've been impressed with their level of knowledge. I teach African cultures and world religions this semester. I will go back and immediately have a unit on Wednesday on slavery. Unfortunately, I missed the trip to Dorian Island, but I've gotten some snippets from some of the other participants. Then I'll do a colonial era period, and I'll have much more to add into that unit. And I think one of the best things is an update on Africa. I was in West Africa the last time in 1978, and things have really changed, particularly the use of cell phones, the roads. I had a 2-hour tour of Dakar, and most of the roads we went on were not paved. And it is just so much different. It's vibrant, developed, much more than I'd imagined. So I think it's important for me to express to my students the continuing progress of Africa, the hospitality, the courtesy, the ingenuity, the ability to plan and rebound and make new plans and use their creativity to address all kinds of situations of life. I also teach a world religions course, and I think the exposure to the Sufis here at Touba is very significant, and I'll show a lot of pictures about that when we get to Islam. Even the coexistence of Islam and Christianity here, and the compatibility and the congeniality between them is an important message that America needs to hear right now. And my students, I think, will be very receptive to it. So I have a lot to take back.
My name is Monica Poole. I teach at Bunker Hill Community College in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm an associate professor there, and I teach philosophy, religion, and communication. When it comes to what I got out of this institute, I think I kind of want to go back to what I was hoping to get out of the program when I applied. When I first applied, I had been studying the post-colonial world for a long time, since early on in graduate school and maybe even since late undergraduate. But I hadn't had a chance to study the post-colonial world in the post-colonial world. For various reasons, it just never happened. So I was really happy to know that a program existed for community college and minority serving faculty, minority serving institution faculty, so that we could do these kinds of programs that embrace us as scholars in a really meaningful way, and do them in the way that we might not have gotten to during graduate school, and in a way that we might have thought we had to renounce when we started teaching at community colleges. It was really important to me to be recognized as a scholar in that way, and receiving the acceptance letter was an affirmation in a way. So I wanted to study the post-colonial world in the post-colonial world. I got here and I discovered that there are so many things that I learned experientially. The lectures were fantastic, the talks, I don't even want to call them lectures, the conversations, the dialogues were fantastic. I'm a professor of gender studies. The first day, it's sort of critical theory, read on Eurocentrism and the way we tell stories about ourselves and the way we tell stories about each other. That was amazing. But as I tell my students, it's often about the relationships you build with one another, and my relationships that I built with the colleagues in the program were as important as the programming itself. Hopefully, a few of us are going to come together to build a community college global learning consortium. The title's still a working title, but the Community College Global Learning Consortium will serve as a kind of umbrella organization for all of the various global learning projects at community colleges around the U.S. We're hoping to start that with a collaboration with the University Cheikh Anta Diop here in Dakar. But we want this to expand, not only touching Senegal, but touching many other places that would be valuable for American students to learn about, and places where American students and faculty can add value to the learning that is already there. We want it to be reciprocal in the spirit of Senghor's claim, the give and take, the back and forth that was so critical to his idea of negritude, and the idea that I think has characterized this program itself. We are giving even as we are taking knowledge to bring back to our institutions.
I am Carla Kirk. I am the lead faculty in African American Studies at Fresno City College in Fresno, California. This was an incredible opportunity for me to travel to Senegal. For over a decade I have studied the work of Cheikh Anta Diop, and his Two Cradle Theory is a foundational part of my entire program. So to come to Senegal and to be able to visit with the instructors and professors and students at Cheikh Anta Diop University was the most incredible part of my voyage. The opportunity to travel to Gorée Island was an incredible homecoming to me, something that will stay with me for the rest of my life. All of the information that was covered in all 7 of the lectures, the panel, and the film series, and the literature series are all going to be immediately implemented into the 10 courses of the African American Studies program at Fresno City College. When I return on Thursday, I am going to be able to introduce some of all of what we've done into all of my courses, and it's just going to make our program ready for the 21st century. So I'm very thankful for this opportunity to WARA and to WARA and to the CAORC, Center for Overseas Studies. I'm very thankful for this opportunity, and anything that I can do in the future to help facilitate more of these opportunities for faculty and students, I'm always happy to come help.
All right. I'm Ellen Olmsted, and I live in Washington, D.C., and I am the chair of the English and Reading Department, and I'm a professor of English Literature and Women's and Gender Studies. I am at Montgomery College. Je suis MC. And we actually have t-shirts in French and Spanish because a large number of our students, that is their first language. In fact, the campus where I work, the majority of the students are first or second generation Ethiopian or West African, primarily from French-speaking countries. I, for many years, took whatever graduate courses I could and read on my own to educate myself about African literature and film. And I learned more in less than a week of some of the lectures we have than than I learned in the past 25 years. And although I thought I had a great handle on some of the literature and the films, just from some of the lectures that we had and also from being immersed in the culture here, I am starting to see so many different ways that I can look again at the reading and the film. I'm also very excited because some of my colleagues enjoyed one of the films to share with them other films that I've used that my students love and perhaps they will like and their students will love. This is my first opportunity to come to Senegal, and this was really a deluxe program in that we had the best of both worlds. We traveled, but not exactly as tourists, and I got to see almost everything that, were I in a position to design my own trip, I would have wanted to see, so that I had a good feel for the diversity of this nation. And the lectures were the best lectures I have ever experienced in my time involved in NEH and NEA and foundation programs. And I look forward to continuing the conversation with the faculty here, and I look forward to continuing conversation with the graduate students that I've met here at the university. I know that I will be making modifications to the courses that I teach, but I also know that I'll be working on trying to share materials with many of my faculty to have them infuse African studies, in particular literature from Senegal, in their courses. And I'm very excited about collaborating with the university and with WARA to share our resources and continue to learn from each other.